Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be covering the Microsoft Admin Center and what you can actually do in here, and I'm going to be talking you guys through everything there is possibly to be done within the Admin Center or Admin Portal, however you want to call it. Now, what is the Admin Center for starters, right? So the Admin Center stands as the centralized command hub for organization. It offers seamless management of various Microsoft services and devices. It also serves as a comprehensive dashboard where you as an administrator can efficiently oversee users, accounts, security settings, compliance measures, and much more across platforms like Office 365, Azure AD, Exchange, and Teams. Now, the interface is rather intuitive and you have a lot of useful tools at your hands to use at the Admin Center, which basically allows administrators to streamline administrative tasks, enhance security protocols, or optimize productivity within the managed organization. Whether it be a small business which is being managed or a large enterprise, generally the Admin Center provides all the essential tools an administrator needs in order to govern all the services from a centralized point. So whenever you access the Admin Center, you will mostly always land in on the Home tab, which is basically featuring a dashboard overview. You can also, however, customize this view to maybe monitor your health from the governed systems, or a simplified view which also shows you a few things like you can see here: users, teams, subscriptions. You can basically adjust that however you would like, right? So next up, we're going to be looking at users. This is basically where you can govern everything in and around about your users, active users. You can add new users here when you're basically in the process of an onboarding or offboarding, want to delete or add a new account. This is where you do it. You could also pre-fill out user templates to basically allow you, whenever you want to add a new user, right, to pre-fill out a few informations which you've already previously specified. You could also add multiple users at the same time, and as an administrator, you can also activate the multi-factor authentication for your organization or for the governed organization to basically force every user within that organization to activate the multi-factor authentication. This is especially useful if you want to increase the security within the organization, right? So that's one thing. You could also later down the road, let's say you have 10, 15, 20 users, whatever, or a large enterprise with a couple of hundred, you can later down the road also deactivate this for specific users, and which is sometimes useful when you maybe wanting to deactivate it for, let's say, some managing persons within the organization. Next up, you have contacts. Now, contacts are, as it says here, people outside your organization that you'd like everyone to be able to find. Anyone listed here can be found in Outlook under People in Microsoft 365. So this is especially useful for maybe keeping like a key account management of your let's say business customers, right? So whenever you want to keep those informations, whenever you want to add those contacts here, your people in your organization will be able to find them in Outlook under People in Microsoft 365. Very useful indeed. Then you have something called guest users. Guest users have access to Teams. Generally, a guest user doesn't require a license and is basically a person that has a guest account, which doesn't cost anything, and they only have limited access to things. Deleted users is whenever you're in the process of, for example, offboarding, have deleted a user, they will be shown up here. You're also able to recover a deleted user. So let's say we head over to users, and we delete Chun Li. So let's delete her or him or whatever. Then we don't want to use nothing here and delete user. So this takes a couple of seconds. Boom. Once you've deleted it and you head over to deleted users, you can see Chun Li, and you can actually restore a deleted user to basically make him or her use the same account again. Auto generate a password, right, and restore, and there you have it. Close. And then when we go back to active users, this is where you have your user again. And that's basically everything that is regarding active users. Here you basically, whenever you want to add a user as well, you just specify a name, last name, display name, the email address that that person has to have. On a product license, you can basically set which license the person has to get. Now, in this case, we only have the business basic licenses available, and you can also change some special roles or some optional settings. For example, some roles. You can specify roles which a person should have within the organization, and you can also include some profile informations like job title, which department the person is in, office phone, and so forth, right? So these are a few things you can pre-specify, and that's where something like, again, as I mentioned before, we're not going to do that now. The user template comes in handy when you have like a lot of people joining constantly within your organization. You just specify everything you want to have pre-filled out in the user templates, and that's basically the easiest way of doing that. Next up, we have teams and groups. Now, under teams and groups, there are already three general ones which are existing from Microsoft. And these groups, basically Teams and Microsoft 365 groups, basically are, whenever you add a group, they will have a group mail post, which basically allows them to have their own mail address, which can be used from everyone that is within that group. Then they will also have their own SharePoint team sites and SharePoint websites, basically where you can, per group, enable the usage of SharePoint and also Teams. They will also have their own OneDrive share where you share where you can basically upload and store files. And this is basically also free. Now you don't pay for these teams and groups. These are already included within the payments. Now, if you want to add a team, for example, you could, again, as you can see, specify name, the description for the team. You can add owners, members, settings, and so forth. And all of this is basically without the usage of any extra licenses. You could also add a Microsoft 365 group, which basically helps collaborate. It includes an email address, again, as I mentioned, for contacting everyone in the group, and a SharePoint site for publishing informations. That's basically that. Then there is also a distribution list. Now, a distribution list is more like a list of email addresses which everyone can use. Right, when we go to distribution list, use a distribution list to send emails to a group of people. It's basically like a collection of email addresses within a distribution list. So everyone who wants to maybe contact, let's say, Department X within a organization, use this distribution list to basically make it possible to only contact everyone within that department without having to manually select the mail addresses from everyone within that department. And then there is something called a security group. Now, a security group gives people access to resources such as SharePoint sites. They can also include devices for use with mobile device management. This is basically if you want to just give someone access, or a group of people access, to SharePoint and SharePoint sites. That's basically what you want to do. Now, you never need all of these free really for one specific purpose. So again, as I said, if you want to only have a distribution list, then create it here, or give some people within an organization access to SharePoint, you do it under security groups. You can also specify policies which govern how collaboration happens in teams and groups. Now, in generally, here are some pre-specified specified policies which are already in there. You can refresh them. You can basically also edit existing policies. You can change them according to your needs. And then on the next one, you also have deleted group. Now, this is similar to users. Whenever you delete a group, you can also recover them again to make them active. However, they will only be shown here for 30 days before the group will be deleted permanently, right? So whenever you accidentally delete a group, or maybe on purpose, know that you can recover them within 30 days. However, if you don't do it within that time limit, you will basically lose that group and all the data associated with it permanently. Now, this also includes data which has been maybe stored in SharePoint, right? So everything that's there will also be gone because it's associated with that group. Then, last but not least, you have something called shared mailboxes. Now, a shared mailbox can be used by a group of people, like a support team, maybe customer support team, to receive and send mails from the same email address, right? So whenever you have 10 people within a department and they want to, let's say, all send as a specific mail address, then they can use a shared mailbox. And again, shared mailboxes do not require any specific licenses. These are, again, included already within your monthly payments. Then we have another part, which is roles and role assignment. Now, again, you have a lot of different roles for your usage, which you as a let's say global administrator can define, right? You can basically set up rules for roles for specific people. Let's say you want to you have an IT department or an IT support section of that department. They would probably only need something like help desk administrator, right? Then you have from HR or billing people that may need further roles to have a look into your billing informations and things like that. So specifying roles is also very important. However, I'm not going to be delving too much into this, as this should be actually covered in a separate video, because you can further specify roles, right? So basically, you could give someone, let's say, the help desk administrator role. However, you're also able to edit specific edit specific roles and further adjust what a person can do and cannot do within an organization. Then we have something called resources. Now, rooms and equipment, this is basically when people are planning meetings, you could basically create or add a resource, and this resource would basically be something that the person can probably use and specify, for example, in Teams meetings and things like that. So this is something that can be always created. Also, as it says here, create mailboxes for resources like conference rooms, company cards, or shared equipment, so people in your organization can reserve them. Then you also have sites. Now, sites are basically here in this one the SharePoint sites. So if you have maybe an intranet for your organization, or you're planning on building an intranet, obviously there is a separate admin center or an admin control center which is especially for SharePoint. However, here on the main Microsoft 365 admin center, you can still see the URLs, and you can also add a site. Now, if you wanted to do that, it would open up an extra tab and you can add a site, but that's a topic for another video again. Now, marketplace and billing obviously is everything regarding your billing informations. You can You can get your bills and payments informations. You can see which billing accounts are there. You can adjust payment methods. You can specify billing notifications to be sent to a specific mail address and so forth. You can also see your current products, licenses, and so forth. Marketplace just above it is basically just a marketplace where you can see the products which are there. Now this will take a bit to load, right? You can see here are different products which you can buy, and yeah, that's basically just an overview over what there is to offer. Just below that, we have the support. Now, help and support is basically the support from Microsoft. Here you can view service requests which you currently may have open. You can contact the support, and you can also have a specific further Microsoft hardware support should you ever require that. Right, next up, settings. Here you can specify things like your domains. You can also add a domain or buy a domain for your organization to maybe further individualize your own user accounts and your user licenses. You have also the things like organization settings, search and intelligence to gain further insights, show some key metrics and so forth. Then you also have the Microsoft 365 backup, where you can basically create backups of your organization, which will be stored also within the Microsoft 365 environment. And you can also adjust integrated apps or maybe things like applications which have been linked to your organization, partner relationships, and so forth. Now, this one again requires separate videos for your own specific things that can be done. But just to get a general overview, you can manage quite a lot of settings from here. Down below that, there is setup. Now, this is basically everything about setup services, solutions, add-ins available with your current used subscriptions. I'm not going to be delving too much into this. This is more or less individual, since everyone has maybe their own setup. Below that, there is reports. Now, I don't have anything here yet to be seen, since this is only a demo account which I'm using. However, under reports, you can see further things like, for example, mail postage usage or activities from users, maybe login informations, how long and how often are your users logged in, and things like that can be monitored from here and can be seen from here. However, bear in mind, you also have your Exchange Admin Center, and you're under your Exchange Admin Center, you can then further see even more informations. And last but not least, you have the health section down below. This is basically yeah, it's just showing me this one that it has been moved. However, we're going to keep it there. And as you can see, it basically shows me an overview first up over my users, things like that. You could also see under teams, subscriptions, learn, and so forth. Then there is service health management. Here you can manage the things more specific to the service health within your organization, and message center, product feedback, so forth. There are a few things here which may require further in-depth videos. However, for starters, this is also part of monitoring the health environment of your organization. Now, down below at the bottom on the left, you will see things, further admin centers, right? You have a security admin center and compliance admin center. You have an identity admin center. This one is your exchange admin center. Then you have a Teams admin center, and there is a few more, right? So bearing in mind, like, generally speaking, you'd expect the Microsoft Office 365 admin center to be your most centralized spot for managing everything. However, realistically, you actually still require other admin consoles, right? Again, as I mentioned, you have different admin consoles for different purposes. But for starters, the main 365 admin center, which is this one right here, is basically used to upscale and descale user licenses, check on your billings and current products and so forth, right? So this is your centralized station for that. And yeah, that basically concludes a let's just say overview over the Microsoft Admin Center or Admin Portal, however you want to call it. If you found this video helpful, then do consider leaving a like. And if you have any further suggestions for future videos, then make sure you put them in the comment section. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time.